So there's a YouTube channel called Shaun and Jen, although I've never heard the Jen person speak, not that I watch any of this person's videos. And they came to my attention because they did a response to my satirical video, #feminists for autism. I didn't pay attention to it. I literally just asked, why are you responding to a satirical video? But I figure, you know, if they're going to take a joke seriously, there's not really much for me to do about it. But then they recently released Sargon of Akkad Can't Read, and you can tell that this is an intellectually honest and highly intellectually charitable video from the Christy Winters School of Intellectual Charity, taking your enemy's strongest arguments and then using those rather than doing what Shaun and Jen does. Sorry, I don't just call him Shaun. There's no Jen, is there? Jen's the name of your body pillow, isn't it, Shaun? But so the title isn't exactly what I'd describe as respectable. I don't think I would put that as one of the titles from my video. But hey, maybe I have in the past, and that was a mistake on my part. But let's have a watch.
Go on. So, when our pal Sargon of Akkad isn't harassing innocent women by photographing them and tweeting out where they live and work...
Brilliant. That's exactly what I did. I was harassing her. I wasn't commenting on the lush in Cardiff where this was taken. And you have even taken this screenshot from the apology video I did to 200,000 people, explaining that that wasn't my intention, and you know, I retract any ill will that may have seemed to have flown from it. But you don't detail that, do you?
He still finds time.
See, no, I just harass people all the time. That's all I do, Shaun. It's not that you're a total cuck and people are human and make mistakes. It's that I go out and do this deliberately. This is the Christy Winters Intellectual Charity School that Shaun has been to. He's obviously a fan of her channel because he's putting all of her principles into practice.
Time to make a YouTube video or two. How's that for an intro? So
I think you'd call it poisoning the well. I think that's what you call it. But again, you're being intellectually charitable, so do go on.
Today, I'm going to be looking at one of Sargon's recent videos in his This Week in Stupid series, where he...
Right, okay, so you're going for the low-hanging fruit, because that's what my This Week in Stupid really is. This is the weekly roundup I do of the silly things that I see. You don't go for any of the solid content that I do. You know, you could go for, well, maybe not that one, because there's too... Go for this one, because I make a lot of definitive statements in this. You could go for any political stuff I did. That one would be good. No, you don't do that. Don't do the Vault 7 one. That was quite important. You could defend socialism if you wanted, but you don't do that. You're not forming argument about any of those things. You don't complain. You don't compare. You could criticize this one or this one, but you wouldn't because they're fucking good videos. And I know because I spent a lot of time working on them. Instead, you went for the lowest hanging fruit you could find. I'm actually surprised you didn't reference a video on this channel itself. But, right, okay, let's go on.
He reads out some recent news items and then complains a lot. And Sargon...
That's called criticism. I mean, would you say that you're complaining a lot? Because by your standards...
recently tried something a little different with this series. Instead of posting shorter, edited videos, he tried releasing a couple of longer, less scripted, off-the-cuff videos.
I hate to point this out, but I actually accomplished that. I didn't just try, I actually accomplished that.
Now, the danger with this approach is that you're more likely to make mistakes, you know.
Okay, and so you thought perfect.
Misquote something, misread something, take something out of context, and Sargon has since abandoned this style of video, saying that making that type of content made him feel lazy.
Yeah, that's basically what this channel's for. And I like the way that you actually go on to describe that accurately when you failed to describe the first 30 seconds accurately. But go on.
Of course.
In fact, you didn't even fail. You deliberately distorted what happened.
The other danger here is that some handsome chap will come along and make a list of all the mistakes you made in order to have a bit of a laugh at you.
You don't even know how bad you make yourself look by setting it up like this. You think you're being some sort of cool edgelord, but you actually make yourself look awful.
Now, is that unfair? You know, Sargon posts an experimental, long-form, unscripted video, and then I go through it and nitpick it for mistakes.
Oh, no. That's not unfair.
Well, maybe that's unfair.
Oh, God. Oh, God. So what you're saying is you don't even really disagree with the thesis that I'm presenting in the long-form, off-the-cuff, rambling sort of video. You don't even disagree with the overall point. There are just a couple of little things you have to nitpick. Well, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to do this too long because, frankly, I'm not sitting through 36 minutes of you being disingenuous. What's the point? Again, I'm only doing this to get a few kicks out of it, so let's go.
But I do think there's still some points to be made here. With Sargon specifically, I think it gives us a bit of a peek behind the curtain. And there are parts of this video...
There is no curtain. You can literally just ask me anything you want, and I will answer it honestly.
Where I'd argue Carl flirts with open white nationalism in
I'm not even white, you stupid fuck. White nationalism would get me in trouble. You're a moron.
a much more obvious way than I see him do in his more scripted videos. More generally though, the particular ways in which Carl misreads articles and news stories is illustrative of how a lot of other people misread articles and news stories and end up coming to silly conclusions.
Hang on. I mean, I'm not saying that because everyone's doing it that means they're right, but there is also if everyone thinks something, and they are, as far as you can tell, rational, intelligent human beings, and you are the one who is consistently on the other side of them misreading everything, just saying, it might be worth reevaluating your own position.
There's a definite lack of basic journalistic understanding at play here.
Well, I'm not a journalist, so don't know why you'd expect me to have journalistic understanding that you're, of course, privy to. Go ahead.
For all Carl and his hate on universities for being social justice hug boxes.
No, I don't hate universities. I actually think universities are vital. And the problem with social justice is that they are deliberately, essentially attacking these universities, trying to gain control of them, trying to modulate and moderate all of the spaces within them and control everyone else's actions. The universities are fabulous. In fact, that's one of the things that is most disappointing about this. Best universities in the fucking world. In world history, no less. And a bunch of cunts like you go and shit them up with your Marxist bullshit. That's my problem. So, no, I don't hate on universities. But, I mean, not that I would expect you to be able to accurately represent anything, Shaun. Go ahead, my dude.
They really could do with going and taking a writing course sometime. So we're also going to focus on Carl's method of reading these articles and how in particular he misreads. This is how I kid myself into doing these sorts of response videos. You know, I try and make it into some wider point so it's not just me laughing at a guy for being wrong.
There's nothing wrong with that. You can laugh at people being wrong all you want. I've laughed at you for being wrong in this very video. No larger point other than... Well, I don't even know. I don't know the rest of your channel. I don't watch your videos. Because I literally have better things to do.
So I think what we'll do here is, before we get to Carl, pick out one of the stories that he reads and we'll briefly scan through it ourselves, have a little chat about it, and then we'll watch his take on it. Though I will say, if you're short on time and you just want to see the worst... Now, surprisingly, this is not Carl's worst abuse of statistics in this video, and I'd like to welcome back everyone who skipped ahead at the beginning. Hello to all you lazy folks.
Hi there, Shaun.
Okay. At one point in the video, Carl talks about a news story in The Independent entitled "Germany has seen an increase in violence since it opened its doors to refugees due to attacks on refugees." And this article starts out, "An average of nearly 10 attacks a day were carried out on refugees in Germany last year, according to the country's interior ministry. Attacks injured 560 people, including 43 children, and prompted accusations that the country's hardened stance on the refugee issue was encouraging hate crimes. According to the ministry, there were more than 3,500 attacks on refugees and asylum hostels."
Shaun, before we carry on, and I may well have made this point in the video, you can't trust what you're reading there. For a start, they're not refugees. they're migrants. The refugees are from Syria. And do you know the breakdown of those? No, of course you don't. Did the German government give them, or at least the Independent reports it? No, of course they don't. It's just blanket term, they're all refugees. And my God, who's a Nazi here? Well, I'm guessing practically every German, by their estimation. But go on.
So that's awful, isn't it? You know, it seems fairly unambiguously condemnable.
Yes, Shaun. Attacks on anyone is condemnable. Well done. That's a very brave stance you have. Go on.
Their hate crimes against refugees and asylum hostels should be indefensible, shouldn't they? Carl?
But the point is, this is wonderful. This is, well, not wonderful, obviously, but this is like, it's good that they're finally talking about violence and refugees, because now we can start talking about the violence that the refugees are doing to other people, right? So we've got 3,500 attacks on refugees and asylum hostels. If we go, this is from the February the 21st, 2016, and it's based on a leaked police document, a confidential police report that was leaked, right? And this just goes to show you exactly who the fuck these people are on the side of. Do you not think there's a point there, Shaun? The fact that they had to leak the document. My God, that really was the laziest thing. I'm so glad I don't do it anymore, but go on. Migrants committed 288,000 crimes in 2015, according to a confidential police report that was leaked to the German newspaper Bild. The figure represents an 80% increase over 2014 and works out to around 570 crimes committed by migrants every day. So, sorry, how was that? 10 attacks a day. Do you see why people are attacking the migrants? Do you see why? You know what? It just pisses me off. It's so fucking one-sided.
Now, I don't want to sensationalise this too much, but that...
But you really do, don't you? Don't lie to me, Shaun. I mean, it's one thing misinterpreting, deliberately poisoning the well, and just generally attacking my character, but don't lie to me.
Series of sentences right there is the single stupidest thing I have heard someone say.
I think I can link you to a channel that you might want to watch. Listen, dummy. Describing something happening isn't an endorsement of those things happening. Do you know that? And you have to understand... I mean, do I have to explain the concept of cause and effect for you? Because if you have lots and lots of migrants that are causing lots and lots of problems, there will be a backlash. This is inevitable. It's inevitable. It's going to happen, so try to prevent the thing that will cause the effect, and you won't get the effect. The effect that you dislike so much. Capiche?
On YouTube. Carl was wrong in so many ways in such a short amount of time that it's almost inexplicable.
Right, so you've got different numbers, do you? You're going to debunk that leaked police report?
But let's take a crack at it anyway. We'll take a look at the two numbers that Carl just compared there. An average of nearly 10 attacks a day were carried out on refugees in Germany last year. Migrants committed 208,000 crimes in 2015. Now then, what's wrong with Sargon comparing these two numbers? Well, what's not wrong with it? Let's start with a basic one. One number is talking about refugees and asylum seekers, and the other number is talking about all migrants.
You've finally worked out why you can't trust the Independent. They are not talking about refugees. This is the problem. They are talking about the migrants who came in the migrant crisis, of which a portion of these are refugees, but they are not delineating that way. They always just term it as refugee, regardless of the actual status of that person. But sorry, go on.
Not all migrants are refugees or asylum
Yes, brilliant, well done. Explain that to the Independent.
seekers. And if you actually read what the German newspaper that leaked the statistics says about them, refugee suspects from Syria, Afghanistan and Iraq were actually underrepresented in the crime statistics.
Yeah, that's great, and I would fucking expect them to be. And that's the point. The Independent is not accurately representing this. They are talking about migrants and instead using the term refugees. You can't trust the press. I don't even know if they know that they're doing it. That's the thing. I don't even know if they know that they are being dishonest, if they know they're conflating these things. But we know.
For instance, about half of the immigrants in 2015 were refugees from Syria, but Syrians were only 24% of the migrant crime suspects, so Syrian refugees were much less likely than average immigrants to be criminals.
I'm actually suspicious of those statistics, because I saw a source, and maybe I should have looked it up for this video, but fuck it, that said something around 30-35% were from Syria for 2015. But maybe that was 2016 or something like that. I would have to find it. But it's not the majority of these migrants who are refugees. And I've had people comment on my videos saying, look, I'm from Syria, and these people are not refugees. A lot of, I know people who have gone to Europe who are not refugees and have gone because they know the Germans are giving out free money. Just saying. I mean, it's just anecdotal. Can't possibly be true from someone in Syria, can it? I mean, God, that would be interesting to model into the statistics, wouldn't it?
And indeed, the organisation that compiled the statistics is quoted as saying, the heavily prevailing majority of asylum seekers do not commit crimes.
Well, oh my goodness, if they're not all doing it, or not even most of them doing it, then there is no problem at all. It doesn't matter that they've had to create a new category of crime called bath rapes, where in public baths, migrants rape people. It just happens all over Germany, consistently. And it came to the point where they simply banned migrants from going to public baths. But you know what, Sean? There's no problem. I'm just being a racist.
Point 2 would be that one number is talking specifically about attacks on refugees and asylum hostels. The other number concerns all crime, not...
Oh, you are so good at this. You are so good at this. Yeah, but believe it or not, the attacks are also included in all crimes. I realise that this is not 208,000 attacks on people, and if it was, holy fuck, that would be an entirely different situation. Again, I should have looked up the statistics, but it was something like 1,300 rapes that had happened, and it was something like 30,000 assaults, and, violent muggings and whatnot. Assault and battery, that sort of thing. But that's still quite a lot, don't you think, Sean? Do you not think? I mean, you could look that up for yourself, but why would you? You're not trying to rebuke me. You're not actually trying to rebuff me or, debunk me. You're just trying to make it look like you're right and I'm wrong. The actual truth of the matter is irrelevant to you. But go on.
Not just assaults. For instance, it includes 28,712 cases of fare evasion on...
Yeah? Okay, so now we have 170,000 crimes left to account for. Dummy! Fucking... Yes, I didn't say they were all assaults. Jesus Christ.
Public transportation. And unlike Sargon, I can't say I'd defend assaulting someone in a hate crime because they didn't pay for their train ticket.
See, now that's the thing, isn't it? He thinks I'm defending this. That's what I find most amusing. No, I'm pointing out the reality of the situation to you. You have strong right nationalist movements rising all over Europe, and it is because of 200,000 crimes, or 170,000 crimes, committed against the local populaces in Germany in the 2015 alone. I mean, you could get the 2014 ones, you could get the 2016 ones, but you just stick with this one, which is fine. But remember, we are talking about millions of people who are having their lives impacted. And that's only what's been reported to the police. And that is only what they, that's just the individual crime. You're not talking about the family members that are impacted when one of their loved ones is beaten or murdered or raped. But you're a feminist. I wouldn't expect you to give a shit about that.
My third point would be to remind Sargon that the first number is talking about hate crimes targeted against a specific group of people, and the second number is not. Now, what's the significance?
Doesn't matter, Sean. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying the crimes are like for like. I'm not saying that someone, a migrant mugging someone is the equivalent of a German neo-Nazi murdering a migrant. There's not doing that. I'm saying cause and effect. if you get a lot of people who have what is effectively a protected status in the US and in Germany, and the reason I say that is because they don't even release the statistics, Sean. You're reading from a leaked police report, you cuck. Do you understand? Jesus fucking Christ. Yes, I know they're not the same. My God, it's like you don't understand anything. That's what people think when I talk to them. When they ask about you, and they find it irritating. And it is irritating because it's just like, you haven't sat down and really thought this out. You don't even know what you're really defending and why you're defending it. You just think you are. But this is again, a complete lack of intellectual charity.
Significance of this, well, not all those immigrant crimes were
not all, yes, not all, yeah, we got it.
Directed against the native German population.
Oh, some of them were directed against other migrants. That's brilliant.
Obviously. In the report, the only categories that list the migrant status of the victims of the migrant crimes are murder and attempted murder, of which the overwhelming majority occurred between migrants.
Oh, that unrapes all those kids who are being raped in German baths, Sean. You make them sound like scum. You make them sound like scum. In your own defense. Fucking. Oh dear, that's brilliant. That's amazing. Okay, I didn't say it was all murders. I mean, you didn't even say it was all murders. That wasn't your stat, it was attacks. But yeah, okay, I agree. Most of the people being murdered by migrants are other migrants. That's not a good sign. But most of the people being raped and assaulted and stolen from and intimidated and like, this is the thing. It's not even like the actual crimes. It's the general atmosphere of intimidation that people don't like. You think this kind of pedantry will undo the wrongs done to just normal people in Germany who have to live cheek to jowl with these people. You have to understand, it doesn't. None of this pedantry changes any of it. It doesn't unrape a single victim. It doesn't unmurder a single victim. It doesn't unassault a single victim of the hundreds of thousands of migrants that are doing it. It doesn't change a thing. But, you know, I mean, wasn't as many killed as it could have been, so I guess chalk that up as a win.
For instance, there were 28 migrant murders, and 27 of those were migrants killing other migrants.
So peaceful. So tolerant. So progressive.
So that shouldn't matter, really. It's still people.
My fucking God, Sean! It's not mattering to me at all. Because I don't live in Germany. I live in Britain, just like you. And luckily, our government was smart enough to not let them fucking in. Aside from a handful of quote-unquote children. Because they were looking at what was happening in Germany and thought, no fucking way. Looking at what was happening in France and thinking, no fucking way. Look at what happens all over the place when they go, Sweden, no fucking way. Because believe it or not, Sean, right, when you offer money to any refugees who come, and you end up getting millions of people, and over half of them are not actually refugees, the other half are there to take advantage of your goodwill. Do you think they're good people, Sean? Do you think they're fine, upstanding, moral pillars of the community? Or do you think they are the low-life scum that reside in every single country that have just been incentivized to come? I mean, do you think that if, for example, France started saying, right, okay, what we're going to do is any British people who want to come over to France and who want to just come and live, they can live at our expense, we'll give them money every week, and they can have their own communities, and we will literally do nothing to police them, do you think you will get the cream of the crop, or will you get the scum who think that's a good situation I'd like to take advantage of? Because believe it or not, and this is a part of not being a racist, it's accepting the flaws of other people as well, regardless of how brown they are. Sometimes you get brown people who are bad. Not all of them, Sean, not all of them. The good ones are still back in Syria. Or they're the actual refugees who have been forced out of their homes. But the rest, a large body of, let's be honest, young men, we all saw the videos, they're probably not the good ones. They're kind of opportunists. They're just thinking, well, let's get what I can get. Go over there. I mean, you should see some of the reports I've seen coming out of these fucking migrant camps. Pretty scary stuff. Just saying.
People killing other people, but if you're going to use this to justify defending hate crimes against
Dummy.
refugees, you
Dummy.
should at least try to make sure that
Idiot.
their documented crimes are committed against the native population.
Idiot. You fucking idiot. You've only gone for murders. 28 murders out of 200,000 crimes. You're like, well, see, nothing's going on there. Blah, 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 blah.
Sargon is comparing targeted assaults of refugees with every crime committed by any migrant.
Yes, it's not a fucking competition. It's... Yes, 170,000 crimes, according to you, without the 30,000 odd others, that are directly impacting the natives. And you think, well, if it's not murders, and it's not the same, then the natives have got no... we can't expect them to respond in any way, shape or form. It's about predicting human behaviour, you dumb shit. It's not about justifying... God, what a fucking idiot you are. I can understand why people hate you. I didn't hate you. I didn't know anything about you, really. I knew that you'd responded to satirical videos, so I already thought you were an idiot. And now, after listening to your little intro there, and then watching this, I can see why people have got such a low opinion of you. I really can.
No matter how minor, and using that as a justification to defend hate crime.
You're such an idiot. Yeah. You know what? Hate crimes are sometimes okay, guys, because, they kind of had it coming. So it's fine. Don't worry about it. In fact, just go shank one if you can. That's basically my position. It's not that I was trying to speak to the wisdom of allowing all these refugees in, migrants in, and then not really policing them, and having a police force that is so overtly afraid of being racist, just like in Britain, that they will refuse to release the numbers for fear of instigating hatred, and then they have to be leaked because they are so fucking bad. Someone in the police force is like, no, people have to know about this. They have to know about the sheer scope of what's happening. I mean, do you remember the politician who was raped and then said, no, I don't want that to report it because I don't want to encourage racism? Do you remember that? Probably not, because why would you? Why would you pay attention to that? That goes against the things you want to defend. For some reason, you are incredibly pro people who might rape. So, fuck knows. But who knows? Well, I don't know. I mean, you tell me why so many women and children are being raped in baths in Germany. Why did they have to ban migrants from baths? All over Germany. Why did they have to do this? I'm sure it was because they were saintly people and they were just led astray by their toxic masculinity. Weren't they, Shaun?
And yes, he literally calls this self-defense.
Yes, that's how they will literally perceive it. They will see their communities being preyed on by these migrants and think, well, we have to defend ourselves. Oh, Shaun, okay, go on, let's finish. I hate listening to my own voice. But you see, it's not like this is one-sided. It's not like the quote-unquote Nazis are just like, I just hate brown people. I hate the fact they're here. We need to just attack them. People are operating in what they perceive to be self-defense. I even fucking explain it in the video. Fucking hell, Shaun. Oh my god. It's so obvious I am talking through empathy towards the people who are suffering from this. And you actually go out of your way to misrepresent this as me defending hate crimes. Just an explanation of something is not a defense, Shaun.
Because Sargon can't tell the difference between a refugee and a migrant.
You mean the Independent, right? Because that's what the criticism was. Oh, you're such a fucking tool.
And because he can't tell the difference between targeted hate crimes and generalised non-targeted assaults.
Oh god, you're such a fucking moron.
Because he can't read properly.
Oh god, this is like a climax. I feel like I'm about to orgasm. This is fucking brilliant, Shaun. I knew you'd be a fucking idiot. And people sent me this video, I thought, you know what, what's the fucking point? I don't expect an honest accounting from this guy. Oh man, I was not disappointed.
he's ended up spewing racist propaganda.
No, I haven't, you fucking... Oh, I guess that I would term this as a case of hearing what you want to hear. I think I can now see why you are amazed that so many people misinterpret this so often that hundreds of thousands agree with me and hardly anyone agrees with you. I can see why you're so baffled. It isn't actually them. It's you, Shaun.